good-looking crowd today. Like most of them bathed. Looking all right. Mark chapter 10, we're going to discuss how do you make God stop? Okay? It's quite easy to make God stop. All you have to do is ask Him to. And we're going to share the story about a blind guy who had the vision to make God stop. This is found in the book of Mark, chapter 10, verse 46. It says, they came to Jericho as Jesus and his disciples, together with a large crowd, were leaving the city. A blind man, Bartimaeus, that is the son of Timaeus, was sitting by the roadside begging. When he had heard that Jesus of Nazareth that was coming by, he began to shout. And he said, Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. Many rebuked him, and they told him to be quiet. But he shouted all the more, Son of David, have mercy on me. Jesus stopped, and he said, call him to me. So they called to the blind man, cheer up, on your feet. He's calling you. Throwing his cloak aside, he jumped to his feet, and he came to Jesus. What do you want me to do for you? Jesus asked him. The blind man said, Rabbi, I want to see. Jesus said, go. Your faith has healed you. Immediately he received his sight and followed Jesus along the road. This is the story of blind Bartimaeus. Y'all have probably heard this story taught from VBS when you were kids, Sunday school when you were kids. I know I haven't preached about blind Bartimaeus in a while. Figured we would talk about him a little bit today. Bartimaeus had two problems. He was blind and he was poor. When you were blind and you can't see, that limits what you can do. When you're poor, you don't have the finances to do some of the things that you want to do. So you're not part of the in crowd, you're not part of the elite, and you're not part of the able because of a disability that you have. So you have a lot of things stacked against you that keep you from feeling full and complete. Everybody in here today probably feels inadequate in some kind of way. There are things in our past, there are things in our present, or if you ain't got no problems, there's going to be some in your future. And these things are going to weigh on you and they're going to seem like obstacles, roadblocks, things that keep you from being all you can be. Now, a lack of vision can impact your life more than you can imagine. Vision is not eyesight. Okay? Helen Keller said, I would rather be blind with a vision than to have my sight with no vision. And Helen Keller, she was pretty smart. You know, come up with a saying like that. That took a lot of wisdom. Having a vision means that you know what it is you want and you know how to get it. Okay? I believe our vision for our church is to make Jesus known to the world. In everything that we do, everything that we say, all of our mission projects, all of that stuff needs to be to make Jesus known to the world. If it does not make Jesus known to the world, then we shouldn't do that. It is a waste of time. That's a vision that God laid on my heart many years ago. Now, Bartimaeus, he heard that Jesus of Nazareth was passing by. And there was no doubt he had heard the stories of what Jesus had done. He had heard how Jesus had healed people, how he had raised people from the dead, how Jesus had gone around doing miracles. He walked on water. He got somebody else to walk on water. He had calmed the seas. Jesus was in control of everything. And if he could do all of that, I believe that he could help me with my lack of eyesight. So, I'm going to call out to him. I know that he's nearby because everybody's talking about it. So blind Bartimaeus, he just starts calling out to Jesus. Let me tell you something. This man could not use his eyes. That didn't stop him from using what he did have. He used his voice. Some of you may not be able to walk that way, but I guarantee you there's something else about you that works okay. Some of you may not be super smart. You probably ain't going to program rockets for a living. That's all right. There are rocket programmers, but there's not many people that build a rocket. Everybody has a place and everybody has a purpose. And if you get hung up on what you feel like you're lacking, then your vision is not very clear. God created you for a purpose. Amen? Every single person. You might not have been born rich, but you were born able to work, and you can make a living. You might not have had many people ask you out, but according to the Bible, you ain't supposed to marry but one time. So, you're just waiting on that one. All right? And from experience, usually once one person shows some interest in you, then you got 8 others showing interest in you. And then at that point, it's just pick which one you want. Rock, paper, scissors, stuff like that. God's going to always send what you need at the right time. You may not have a lot, but you don't really need a lot. We don't always have what we desire. But when we work with what we have, I think we'd be amazed at what we could do. Barnabas called out to Jesus. He said, Son of David. Barnabas knew the past. He knew that God was going to send through the lineage of David someone that was going to restore God's people as God's people. He was going to set them back up. He knew his history. He knew enough to have faith. Now, if you're sitting here today and you do not have a relationship with Jesus Christ to the point where you have surrendered to Him and you are living your life for the Lord every day, I guarantee you, you're dealing with some disabilities. You're feeling like you're alone. You're feeling like people don't love you. You're feeling like you're not pretty or you're not talented. There's all these things that Satan fills your mind up with. The biggest problem you got is that your relationship with Jesus Christ is not where it should be. That's your disability right now. What we want to do today is make God stop and answer you. So who's feeling inadequate? Who's feeling alone? Have you recognized God calling you? See, you may not see God at work around you, but He is. You may not see the things that God is doing behind the scenes, but He is. All that it requires for you to have a relationship with God is faith. And y'all, that's a vision. One day, when I see Jesus with my own eyes, I'm not going to have faith anymore. See, faith is going to be gone at that point because I'm going to see Him. I'm not going to have to believe. Right now, I have to believe. And I do believe. When we get to the point, though, that we don't believe, things just unravel in our life. If you need help, God will help you. If you're feeling lacking in some kind of way, God wants to help you not feel lacking. Okay? Now, let me tell you something about old Barnabas here. He would not be silent. In verse 48, it says, many rebuked him. When he called out to God, when he said, Jesus, Son of David, help me. Everybody around him was like, what are you bothering me for? You are a blind, poor beggar. He ain't got time for you. Y'all, Jesus was on his way to the cross. The biggest event in human history. That's where Jesus was headed. And here's this blind beggar, this blind poor guy, crying out to him. So everybody's like, would you hush? You hush. God ain't going to help you. Jesus ain't got time to stop for you. You just sit there and just be who you are. The crowd didn't think that this beggar was worthy of Jesus' time or his attention. Some people may feel the same way about you. Some people may feel that you don't matter. Some people might even tell you that you don't matter. A lot of people will make you feel like you don't matter. For Barnabas, even though it was a tiny window of opportunity, he didn't fail at it. He jumped right in. He didn't let those people that were trying to deter him. He stayed at it. He was willing to face whatever kind of humiliation, ridicule, whatever. He was going to face it so that he could see Jesus. You know, sometimes we got to go through a period of starvation. We got to starve our egos. We got to starve our pride. And we've got to get to the point of humility before we realize, I need Jesus. I need help. How many of y'all are stuck in the pattern of trying your best and it just ain't working out? You are trying your best to get over your past. You are trying your best to get over this hump that is in your life, to get over whatever's going on in your head, to get over whatever problem's going on in your family. You're trying your best, but you just can't figure it out. Try Jesus. Have you tried it? Have you tried his way? There is a tiny window of opportunity, and you know that God is calling you to it. No matter what nobody else says, take that chance. Cry out to Jesus. And you know what he's going to do? He's going to stop. Jesus will stop whatever he's doing for just one person. You know how I know this? Because he stopped for Barnabas. Jesus told a story one time about two men that went up to the temple to pray. There's a Pharisee and a tax collector. The Pharisee stood and he prayed. And he said, God, I thank you that I am not like this other man. God, I thank you that I'm not unjust. I'm not an adulterer. Or I'm not even like this tax collector. I fast twice a week. I give tithes of everything that I possess. I'm a good person. That's what that Pharisee said. And the tax collector, standing far off, he wouldn't even raise his eyes up to heaven. He wouldn't even look up. But he beat himself on the chest. And he said, God, be merciful to me, sinner. That's what he said. The Pharisee, he already possessed all the righteousness he was ever going to have. Because it was self-righteous. But that other man, he went down to his house justified rather than the other one. The Bible says in Luke 18, 10 through 14, where you can find the story. Luke 18, chapter 10, everyone who exalts himself will be humbled. And he who humbles himself will be exalted. Do you need help? I mean, with anything. If you don't need any help, you're probably your own God. Everybody needs help at some point. All right? And Jesus wants to help you with whatever it is that's going on in your life. I'm trying to tell you, you can have more. You can have a better life. You can have a greater anointing, a greater amount of grace on your life if you would just cry out to Him. That's what Barnabas did. Let me ask you something. If you looked in the mirror in the morning and you saw your character instead of your face, would it scare you? I mean, if you saw who you really are, would you be pleased? That's a tough question. Barnabas didn't think of himself as being good or worthy or anything like that. He knew that the only way that he could be fixed, that he could be made whole again, was not because of anything that he did, but it was because of the Lord's goodness, the Lord's kindness, the mercy of Jesus Christ. Not anything that he did. He wasn't comparing himself to anybody else or anyone else's purity. He just started crying out to God because he knew what God can do, because he had heard about what God had done. And if God would do it for that person, why not me? Why not me? A lot of people would have given up. They would have given up when the people started saying, don't bother him, don't bother him. You're not worthy. They would have given up and retreated back to themselves and just given up and said, nobody understands me, nobody loves me, there ain't nobody on my side, everybody's out to get me. Not Barnabas. Barnabas yelled loud. You know, this journey of life, if you try to fuel it with the opinions of other people, you're going to eventually run out of gas. And let me tell you, we're all monkeys. You know that? Years ago, there was a movie called The Gods Must Be Crazy. This guy living out in like a Serengeti or something like that. He built a monkey trap. This monkey trap was very simple. It was this little ball that he had woven out of sticks, and it had a small hole in it. The hole was just big enough for the monkey to stick his hand in. All right? And he put some bait in it. Some thing like pumpkin seeds or something that the monkey wanted. So the monkey could reach his hand in, but when he grabbed it, his hand got wide and he couldn't get his hand back out while he was still holding on to it. Okay? So he left the trap set. Monkey come along, stuck his hand in there, grabbed a hold of it, and he was stuck. The monkey would not let go. He wouldn't let go. Man came along, caught him a monkey. Because the monkey wouldn't let go of the prize or the treasure, or whatever. Sometimes, I guess our curiosity or our greed or whatever it is, can get the best of us. You know, we can get trapped by things in life, things that we think that we need, and we just won't let go of them. Every person in here today has probably got their hand caught in something that they don't need their hand caught in. It's something that we need to let go of. Got to let go of. Or maybe we're always going to be just trapped by that thing. It could be a habit. It could be a bad relationship. It could be the thoughts that float in your head, the lies that Satan tells you that you keep on believing. What is it that you need to let go of? Barnabas wasn't worried about his place, his position, his standing in the community. He let go of all of it. It says he threw off his cloak. That means that was all that he had. So he threw off all that he had. The only thing that could have hindered him. And he went to Jesus. Over in Bethlehem, they've got the Church of the Nativity. And that's the traditional site where they believe that Jesus was born. Now, to get in to see this place, they've got a very tiny door. Okay? It's very short. I think it might have been designed by Brenda. I don't know. Where is Brenda? All right, then that's okay. She probably wouldn't have to go too much. But to get in there to see the place where supposedly Jesus was born, you have to bend down and kind of crouch and crawl, kind of duck walk. Just get down on your hands and crawl in there. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is that a lot of times we have opportunities to encounter God, but first thing we need to do is bow down to God and humble ourselves. You ain't ever going to meet God until you do humble yourself. You have no need for God. You have no need until you humble yourself. Because if you haven't humbled yourself, you feel like you don't need God. What is it that you need to let go of? And why would you not cry out to God today? Humble yourself and watch what happened with this blind man. He let go of everything. He shouted. And verse 49 says, Jesus stopped. He stopped Jesus in his tracks. Have you ever stopped God? Stopped him. This guy was not a theologian. He wasn't a Bible scholar. He wasn't a prophet, a priest. He wasn't even a disciple. But it says, the Bible says that Jesus stood still and commanded him to be called. So this man cried out for Jesus' help. And that's what beggars do most of the time. Can you help me? Can you help me? They're right on a little sign. They'll stay out in front of Walmart. Can you help me? Jesus is on his way to the most important event in human history, the cross. But he stopped for this man, this poor man. You know, the Bible teaches us that Jesus is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Correct? Jesus is never changing, right? So if Jesus would stop for this man and help him, I think he would do it again. I believe there's somebody in here today who needs Jesus to stop and help them. Would you ask him to? I want to close with a few questions. I want you to seriously ask your heart. You may be blind to the knowledge and the wisdom of the Bible. You may not have a lot of biblical knowledge and wisdom. You may not understand very much, but just you know God is calling you. Now it's your turn to call to Him. Okay? Have you let go? And are you ready to ask Jesus for help? Whatever it is, God can help you. What if you called out to Him with a need? Do you think that He would stop? Let me reread this to make sure that we understand. The blind man said, I want to see. I need this from you. And Jesus said, your faith has healed you. Do you have the faith to stop Jesus? You know what the need is, because God's Holy Spirit's been just pounding it into your head ever since we started this. You know what it is that you need to let go of. But do you have the faith to get Jesus to stop by this morning and heal you, and fix you, and fix your family? What is your lack? What is your hope? What is it that you need? If you stop for Barnabas, he'll stop for you. Jesus told him, your faith has healed you. And immediately he received his sight. And then he followed you. That's as easy as it gets. Place your faith in him. Believe in him, knowing that he will, and then follow him. Everything that you think you don't know, you'll learn. Everything that you think you can't do, you'll learn how. The person that you know that you were created to be, you will become. Let's stop God with that. All right? Let's all stand. We're going to sing an invitational hymn. And if you would like to pray to God this morning, pray to Jesus, tell him what you need.